Okay. So once again, welcome everyone for today's web design masterclass with Kelvin in the BAWWE NG community. As titled, we'll be looking at getting started with Elementor Page Builder because before now, I've been showing us how to build a portfolio website, a corporate website using the plugin called Elementor. So I just wanted to show us what the plugin is capable of doing, and then create time for us to then talk about this plugin. So you experience it so that when I'm explaining it to make more sense to you than starting to explain it and then show you how to do it. Now you have seen me use it to create a corporate website. You have seen me use it to create a portfolio website with integration of some other additional plugins and templates. So tonight we are going to look at what is this Elementor all about and what can we do with it. So we know Elementor, like I mentioned before now, is a plugin, a WordPress plugin that is used in creating custom dynamic website. So it is used to create custom dynamic website. Elementor is a WordPress page builder plugin, because a page builder functionality allows you to control nearly every visual aspect of your website, alongside with creating custom layouts and design and pages. So what it means that this plugin enables you to create your website layout visually. So you are doing it on the front end using a drag and drop technique. So this drag and drop functionality enables you to see what you are designing. So you don't need to write a code and then have to load your page and come to the front end to see what the result of your code presents to you. Rather, as you are editing it, you are seeing the result in real time. That is one powerful thing about this page builder. There are so many other page builders out there. You can have likes of WP Bakery, which was formerly a visual composer page builder. You have Site Origin, you have what you call Beaver Builder, you have what you call Breezy, you have what you call Origin, you have what you call the whole lot of it. You have Zion page builder. There are tons of WordPress page builder, but Elementor that we know is the most popular WordPress page builder you have out there, because it has about 8 million active installation. That means there are 8 million web creators out there who are using this particular page builder, which you are going to start using to build your own website. Because one thing about this page builder is going to change the way you build website. It gives you the limitless possibility of what you can create when it comes to web design and development. So Elementor itself is not an actual team, but it works with almost, let's say, 60% of the teams you have in the WordPress repository, meaning that some team might not really be compatible with Elementor Page Builder, but visually almost the existing ones are updating their team to be able to work with Elementor, because since everyone is using Elementor to build their website, so some team creators need to update their team so that it can be compatible with Elementor. So Elementor is a plugin that I mentioned to customize your existing page, and it has what we call widgets. So these widgets are what you drag into your page layout to add more functionality to your website. So in the course of this class, I'm going to do a demonstration. We are going to see this plugin in action. We are going to look at the different widgets of this plugin, and we are going to see the functionality it will bring to our web design creation. So plus all the features it has in place, it can enable you to either you create with templates or you can build your site from scratch. Meaning, when I mean from scratch, it means that you are not using a pre-built template, you are using a blank canvas. And this blank canvas, you can start dragging things to come up with the idea of how you want your layout to be. And also it gives you the privilege as well to use pre-built template, like I have demonstrated in the previous class. It gives you the privilege to use pre-built template. And also an Elementor itself, it has a free version and it has a pro version. I'm going to stop sharing this screen so I can actually go into the Elementor screen itself and show you guys from their website to talk more about what it has to offer, as you can see. So let me search Elementor. Let me know once you can see my screen.
Not yet, I can't see your screen. Your screen is coming up now. Yeah, we can see now.
Okay, can every other person see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Yeah, okay. So basically, this is the official website of Elementor. This is the developers of Elementor. This is the official website. It has information about Elementor, what it's all about, things you can create with it. So it says create website design your features. So they have about 8.8 million plus professional community, build website, collaborate, great together, #1 web creation. So this is what you have. You have 90 plus widgets. It's a live drag and drop editor. You have 90 plus widgets, pixel perfect design. So with this tool, you can be able to achieve all kinds of websites. You can create websites like business and service website. You can create a portfolio and CV website. You can create any kind of creative website, let's say interior decoration, architectural design, and everything. You can create those websites. You can create an e-commerce website. An e-commerce website is an online store. You can create that kind of website. You can create an event and entertainment website using this tool. And you can create multiple landing pages. So landing pages, you know that it is used for promotional purposes. So with this tool, you can create multiple landing pages for any promotion you want to run for your business. And also you can create like online magazines and blog for your writing purposes. So you can create that kind of website. And finally, you can create health and wellness website. This is just a few things you can create with Elementor. There are a whole lot that your limitation is just your imagination. So whatever you imagine to create, this tool will enable you come up with the design concept and create that. So we are going to look at the different widgets that we have in Elementor. The mention, let's look for web creation. So like they mentioned, there are 90 plus widgets you have in Elementor. You have about 30 free widgets for the free version of Elementor. You have about 29 widgets for the pro version of Elementor. So the whole of today, you have 14 widgets for custom, and you also have another 10 widgets for the Woocommerce. So these are the widgets. So widgets are the script and the functionality you are going to drag into your website. So for the basic is the free version of Elementor. So for the basic, these are the few widgets you are going to have. You are going to have what we call inner section. You are going to have what we call heading, image, text editor, video, button, star rating, divider, map, icon, image, icon box, basic gallery, image carousel, icon list, counter, spacer, testimonial, tabs, accordion, toggle, social media icon, progress bar, SoundCloud, shortcode, HTML, menu anchor, alert, sidebar, and text part. So for today, we are going to look at the basic widget. So that means we are going to set up the free version of Elementor, and we are going to look at all these widgets we have for the free version. So based on the same widget, you have what we call the pro version. So when the pro version is like the paid version of Elementor. So these are the widgets, because this pro version has more functionalities when you want to create more dynamic and custom design for your website. It has more functionality. When we go into the pro version of Elementor, you look at how you can generate templates for your posts, how you can integrate share button. Like you see all these blogs, they tell you share blog and all those things. So it has a widget to enable you create that template. Then for the portfolio website you created, it has a widget for itself. You can use and create your own portfolio without going into designing the whole portfolio from scratch. It has what you call slides. It has forms, so you can be able to create and integrate form into your design. It has login, so you can set up, you can create a website that has a login system where users can log in, register and log in into your website. And this pro version comes with navigation menu, so you can create a navigation menu on any page of your website. So you don't need to depend on the header or on the footer of your website to have navigation. With this widget, you can drop your navigation menu on any page of the website, any page of your choice. Then you have what we call animated headline, and you have what we call price table, price list, gallery. Remember, the free version has a basic gallery, but this one has gallery itself. So this is the full version of the gallery that you can use and create some custom gallery functionality. Then you have what you call a flip bus, and you have call to action, media carousel, testimonial carousel. So anything carousel is just functionality that enables you to create content that slide from left to right on your website. You have table of content. You can create table of content for your blog post. You can create countdown. And one thing about this countdown, you can give an action, what happens after the countdown hits 0. So you can say, okay, after the countdown hits 0, I want to redirect people to this particular page. I want to show them this particular product. I want to give them a pop-up for them to take an action. So it has all these custom functionalities you can use. Then you have Facebook page. So with this pro version, you can integrate your Facebook page into your website. You have blog quotes, you have templates. So this template functionality enables you to create multiple templates, and then you can insert it in any page of your website. Also, you have the reviews, so you can call in the review from different platforms into your website, or you can create your own review. You have the Facebook button. So if you want people to like your Facebook page on your website, you can integrate that using this button. You can also embed your Facebook feed on your website using the Facebook embed. You can also integrate the Facebook comments on your blog section so that people can use their Facebook account to comment on your blog. And also you have access to PayPal button. PayPal button enables you to collect payment by payment from a click of a button if you are selling a product or any form of service that people need to pay using PayPal. It's unfortunate here in Nigeria, we are not allowed to carry out some level of transaction on PayPal, but outside Nigeria, this button functions very well. So we have what's called Lottie widget. Lottie is a form of a small script animation you can integrate into your website. You have code highlight. So code highlight, like me, if I'm writing a blog, a programming blog where I want to indicate some code snippets I use in my design, I can use this widget to write those code, and it will return the color code and the exact code functionality, how it should. It won't come out like a plain text, it will come out like an actual code itself. You can copy and paste in your design and it will be functional. Then another thing you have here is the video playlist. The video playlist enables you to take video from YouTube and present it on your website like an online course. You can move from one playlist. You can use it to create a course whereby your site users can watch one course from one playlist to another to highlight what the course is all about. Then another thing we have here is the hotspot. Hotspot functionality enables you to like pin something on an image on a map. So for instance, if I am running an interior decoration business or I'm an interior designer, I can upload a picture of a living room. Then I will use the hotspot widget to pin, to label every item I have on that picture. So I can pin and say, this is a television, this is a sofa, this is a table, this is a chair, this is a ceiling fan or something. So I can use this hotspot to bring more detail into my design, into my image. Can you still hear me? Hello? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you now.
Can hear you now.
Sorry, I was disconnected. Trying to connect back.
Can hear you now.
Once you can see my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet, though.
How about now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I was talking about the hotspot widget. So the hotspot widget enables you to bring more detail to your image or to any element you have on your website. Let's say, for instance, you want to sell a product like a chair. You can use the hotspot to add different pins on that particular chair to highlight the material that is used to design that chair. So that is one thing about this widget. So once still on the pro version, you have something we call theme elements. So these theme elements are the different widgets you can use to create your custom template. Like I mentioned before now, Elementor enables you to build custom dynamic websites. So you can be able to pull information from the database to create your template you can use over and over again on your website. So the few widgets we have for this is the post title. So for your blog post, for your news updates or your online magazine, you can use this widget to call in the title of your blog post on any template you are creating. The post except is the body of your content. You can a summary of the body of your content. You can use it to pull it in. You have your post content, the whole content you have. Then you have what we call featured image. So if you have seen all these blogs, like the image before the content, that's what it's called, the featured image. So you can be able to integrate those functionality when you create a template for your website. So in the future lessons, we are going to look at creating a template for a blog post. So that's where you see me use all these tools to create those templates. That's how the author boss is the author of the writer. You can be able to pull in the author information, the current user on your platform can be able to pull their information using this widget. You can put comment as well. You can create a navigation, next page, previous page functionality. You can create the post information like the metadata, the date the post was published, the who published it, and the category it was published. You can use that to call it. You can also integrate the site logo. So when you add the logo on your website, you can use this widget to show the logo on any part of the website where you want that logo to be shown. Page title, you can bring in your page title. You can add a search box for people to query your website to get an information. You can also add what you call a breadcrumb. A breadcrumb is more like a little navigation system you will add on your website so that people will know where they are on every page of your website. Let me see whether you have something like that. Okay, there's nothing here, but I'll show you what a breadcrumb looks like. So aside from this widget, the last we have here is the Woocommerce widget. Woocommerce, we know, is a plugin that enables you to create an online store for your website. So Woocommerce is a WordPress plugin. It enables you to convert your typical WordPress site into a functional online store so that people can buy product, people can add product on their cart, people can check out from the cart and make payments. So this is, we are going to cover creating an online store this month. So you are going to learn more about this widget. You have the product breadcrumb. So the breadcrumb is also mentioned here. You have your product title, you have the product images, you have your product price, you have add to cart, you have product rating, you have product stock, you have product meta, you have product content, short description, product data table, additional information, product related, upsell, product, custom add to cart, product categories, and then WooCommerce pages and your menu card. So these are the few widgets we have in this Elementor page builder. And as time goes on, we are going to learn what we can do with each of these widgets when building the website of our choice. So with that out of the way, we are going to dive in and start creating our own website by showing you what you can do with this widget. I'm going to stop sharing this so I can be able to share my system and we can work with that. I hope I'm all clear. Can you all hear me? Remember, you can ask me questions at any point if you are missing out on anyone.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So let me know what you're seeing. I'm opening my local. I believe by now, every one of us have been able to install local successfully on their laptop. Okay. So you all can see my screen now, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. So basically, we are used to local because I've been using it whenever we are having our class. So we are going to dive in straight up to set up a website. So I'm trying to, oh, am I starting this? Sorry, let me stop this. So I like going through this process so that we can get comfortable in working with this tool. So you can see each of the class I'll be creating sites. So for tonight, we are looking at getting started with Elementor. So we are looking at getting started, let's say, let's call it my Elementor site. So my Elementor site. So the same procedure, just look through the information to ensure everything is fine, continue. Just always leave it as preferred, let the system do the work for you. Then our local login is admin, and everything is fine. Then we go. So we are going to wait for the local to do all the setup, configuration, and download WordPress and set it up for us. So we are going to wait for that to happen. Okay, so it's directed to download. So super, were you able to install local into your laptop?
I've not done that.
Maybe you can download that tonight and set it up. It will help you to practice more.
What I'm doing is I'm moving. I just got a Windows system now, so I'm working on my Windows at the moment. Mac has been not too sweet for me like that.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
So the local is adding our WordPress installation. I so much like this too because it's very fast in setting up a WordPress environment to start practicing. Like whenever I'm working on a project, I'll just hit to get my ideas together before thinking of going to live or into my home domain hosting environment to start designing. So I'll just play around here knowing that I'm not breaking anything. Even if I break something here, I will install another version of the site and continue. That's one thing about this site. And also you can do a backup of your site here and take it online. It's very, very good. It's a very good tool. I so much like that. Let's wait for that. Okay, good. So our site is ready. We are going to open it and see what it looks like. Let me share this. Okay. Okay, so this is our installation. You can see my Elementor site. So remember, okay, so now to access the dashboard, what do I need to do? So I want to access the dashboard of the website we are creating. What do I need to put into the URL to access the dashboard, the login interface? Are you all with me?
Yes, we're here.
Okay, so I'm asking if you want to access the login window, what do I need to add to my URL to access that page?
Okay, WP-admin.
Okay, WP admin, that's good. So as time goes on, I will show you guys how you can customize this so that it won't be like every website you are building, you need WP admin to log in. So you have our admin, then you have our password admin. So now we are at the dashboard of our WP installation. By WP, I mean WordPress installation. And we are going to look at our environment and get it ready for the site we want to create. So first thing first, what I'm normally doing, I'll just go through the page. I'll trash everything I'm not going to need for my design. I'll go to pages. I'll trash all this. I don't need it. So last time I showed you guys, you need to go to your settings and check the general settings as well. You ensure that everything is looking well. Everything is looking well. The time settings and the date settings, everything is right. Your time zone, you ensure that it's looking, you are in your current location. So I'm currently in Lagos. I'm going to look for Lagos and put that there. This is Africa. This is Lagos. So based on your location so that you can work with the time zone of your location. But we are all in Nigeria. So basically Lagos and it will just be our time zone. So once you're done with that, remember to save the changes and wait for it to get saved into your system. Okay, good. settings saved. So next thing, you're going to check your permalinks. Always remember this, your permalinks. You want to leave your permalinks to be on post. Don't leave it here, or here. Always keep it at post name so that you can have your website name / your page name. So that's what it does. Give you your website name / your page or post name. That's one good thing about this, and it's very good for SEO. So with that done, I guess that is all I need to do. Then the final thing I need to do, I will come to general. Is it general? No, I'll come to reading. So in this section, when you are building a site and you are not ready to go live, always check this box, search engine visibility. So always check this box, discourage search engines from indexing this site so that Google search box will not go to your site and start indexing all the mistakes you have been doing. So you can only uncheck this box when you are confident that your site is ready to be made open to the public. That's the only time you can come in and uncheck this box. Remember, to access this page, you need to go to under settings, you go to reading. Under reading, you see this section where it says search engine visibility, and you uncheck it when you are going live. So with that checked, I'm going to save these changes. Okay, setting change. So that is all I need to do for this. So the next thing I'm going to do, remember, before you start looking for plugin for your website, what you need to do is to set up the look and feel of your website. And to do that, you go and install a theme. So we are going to install a theme. We already have theme installed. That's the default installation that we got when we added the WordPress installation, but that is not my own preferred theme. I want something different. I will go look for, I'm going to use a basic theme. This is just like a blank canvas. There is no design, there is no layout, it's just a plain template, because this is what you are going to be using to create your custom dynamic website, because you need to be able to come up with your design concept and start creating amazing design by looking at a blank sheet. So that's what I'm going to teach you guys in the course of this training. So let's wait for our theme to get installed so we can look for the plugin we are going to use tonight to practice. Okay, so now my theme is installed. I'm going to activate it. Good. My theme is active because this theme works with Elementor. They are asking me to install Elementor. I'm not going to install this Elementor through the pop-up I have here. We are going to go in and delete these other themes that we are not using. It is the best practice whenever you install a theme, you delete the other themes that you're not using, because it will impact the speed of your website if you leave them active. So you click on them, look at this red delete button, and you hit it and delete it from your website. So with that out of the way, I now have the Hello theme by Elementor. So this Hello theme is the same people that built Elementor Page Builder. They are the one that developed this theme. So this theme works perfectly with Elementor. And another thing you need to do when you are using this theme is to enable auto update, because you do not want to come back to your website every time to be updating your theme. You just want your team to update whenever there is a new version of the theme available. So I will enable this. So with this enable, I won't think about coming back to my website to keep updating this theme, because this theme is just like a blank template. So I'm not bothered if they added anything, because I'm not using any functionality from the theme. So now I've enabled the auto update. I'm going to the plugin section. So on this plugin section, what I'm going to do is I'm going to install Elementor. So we are going to look for Elementor. So once this plugin window is open, you are going to search for Elementor. So once you put the keyword there, it's going to search the repository and bring Elementor for you. So you can see there is 5+ million active installation. So this is what they currently have recorded on WordPress there, but there are more than 5+ installation, 5 million installation for this plugin. So once you have it out, you are going to click the install button. We wait for it to get installed. So while we wait for it to install, like I mentioned, Elementor, it has a free version and it has the pro version, the premium version. So the free version, like most plugins that you have in the WordPress repository, there is always a free version of a plugin and there is always a pro version of a plugin. For instance, this plugin essential add-on for Elementor, if I go to more details, you will see this one they have given us is a free version, but when you scroll down, you see 40 plus free widgets. So for this, this is called add-on for Elementor. So it is another plugin that works hand in hand with Elementor. So that after we have done the pro features of Elementor, we are going to look at this within the week, because from this month I started doing the training Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So every Friday from 7:30, I will go live to talk about each topic that I've shared within the week. So I want to be able to cover so much because the year is almost coming to an end and I have a goal to cover so much so that by 2022, you'll be able to have confidence to build any website or approach any business to sell website to them and make money. So that is my goal. So I'm trying to do as many videos as possible this month. So when you go down, you're going to see this section. You see if the premium version has 30 plus widgets. So you see, like a typical, they have the free version and they have the pro version. That's how Elementor is built. So it allows you to start small and upgrade for a fee. So what it means, the free version now, you can learn the free version, see, get comfortable with it. Then when you need more features to handle more bigger projects, you can then upgrade. So the premium version has additional features that makes it much easier to create your workflow. So this is very useful for developers and designers. So the pro version has features that enable you to create more things on your workflow. And also building client websites, you can build an entire team. So what I mean, like, instead of going to buy a pre-built team when you're handling a client project, with this pro version, you can be able to create your own template from scratch. So without buying any additional template online. And also you have access, when you're using the pro version, you have access to a larger community, and also you have access to support when you run into problems. So you have like the support team of Elementor coming for your rescue to help you resolve your issue. And also you have dynamic functionality, mean you can create content that talks directly to your database and bring information from your database and present it on the front end of your website. So that is few things about the pro version. And the pro version is, it has the price tag. So by the end of this class, I will share the pricing of Elementor. So with that out of the way, I'm going to activate the Elementor page builder for our website. Good. So with this activated, we are going to create a page so you can be able to look into the different widgets we have for this section. So this is going to be Elementor basic widgets. Okay, let me make it full width. I know by now we are comfortable with creating pages for our website. Okay, now our page is published. Next thing we are going to do edit with Elementor. Okay, now, so this is the Elementor editor's interface. What I'm going to do, I'm going to hide this section and this section. So we are going to work on a blank canvas. So what I'm going to do, you see this gear icon that is there, written settings. All you need to do, just click it. It will open the settings of your page. So this window is your page. So this icon opens the settings of this. So that means anything I'm going to do on this setting will affect this page itself. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to change the page layout. I'm going to change the page layout. I'm going to make it Elementor canvas. You notice once I change this thing, this and this is going to disappear. So let's do that. So let's wait for it to load. So you see there is nothing on our screen again. So I'm going to update this. I will collapse all these widgets. So now we are going to the basic. So for the basic, so right here, what you have, what you call add a new section. So any website you are creating is made up of sections. So from one section to another. So you stack your website based on section. You can have a 1-column section. You can have a double column section. You can have 3-column section, 4-column section. You can have your 2-column section lay out differently. You can have your 3-column section lay out. So you can see you can have your 5-column section, you can have your 6-column section, you can have your 3-column section. So based on how you want to lay out your site. So what we are going to do, I'm going to show you all these things. So this is your single column section. What I'm going to do, I'm going to increase the column height. So for every section, you have access to the column settings and the section settings. So let's say, for instance, we all are seeing this edit section. So that means I am on the section settings of Elementor when I'm editing my site. So on this section, every information I have here will affect the section. And every information I have here, edit column, will affect anything that is inside the column. So to demonstrate that, starting with column. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to set up my column width. So my column width has to do with the content width, the width of the content. This is what we have here. So the content width is box. That means everything I have will be in a box. Let me add a section for demonstration. Let me see. Okay, so inside this column, I have this box. So my content is not going to the edges of my site because they are inside a box. So once I change this into full width, my content now is going to spread across my website. So if I add more into it, let me see. So if I add more, you see now my content spreads across my page. That means I made the content area to be full width. So it's advisable to always know how you want your design to look before you start playing around with the width of your content. So I'm taking it back to box. You see everything will come together now. So this is how it's going to look. Then another thing I'm going to show you guys, so based on this content, everything you see on this section called layout, you can only see layout when you're on a section. So when you're inside a column, you see the column layout as well. So this layout is looking different from the section layout because the section layout has more control on how your website is going to look. So we have talked about the content width, and now you can also define a custom width for your section. So I can say, okay, I want my width to be 500. So you see what happened? It have made the width to shrink a bit, making it to be 500 pixels. I can say I want my content width to be 12,250. So it will adjust it. So based on how you want your content to be laid out on your site, you can define that width. And also Elementor has a function where you can define a default width for your content. So for instance, if I want to be able to make all the sections I'm going to create to have the same width without coming to play with this width, all I need to do is I will come to this hamburger icon, I will click it, I will go to the site settings. So site settings control the settings of your entire site. If you want to design, if you want to create a design system, we are going to look at what is a design system in upcoming class. So for this section, we are just going to look at the layout aspect. So you see currently the default layout for section is 1140. So what it means by default, any section you create on your website is going to have a width of 1140. So based on how you want your content width to be, you can define this by adding the value you want. So this will take it. Then the gutter, the widget spacing is, for instance, I will show you what the widget spacing is. Let me not just play with that. So once I get there, so remember I went in to change my page layer to canvas. So here you can define that every page I want to create, I want the layer to be either Elementor canvas or Elementor full width. So I will show you that. Let's leave it in canvas and we go to the next one. So the breakpoint is where you define the responsiveness of your website, how you want it to look on a mobile, how you want it to look on a tablet, and how you want it to look on extra laptop, widescreen, and all those things. So this is how you can define that on your design. So you can do that here. We'll go into detail in no time. I have 30 more minutes to wrap up. So with that out of the way, I'll just save this. So now I have this section. Remember, I talked about a widget spacing. So widget spacing from the settings is 20 pixels. So what it means, this is a widget. This is a text editor widget. This is another text editor widget. So the space between these two widgets, is 20 pixels. So you can control this space. Okay, now see what I'm going to do. I'm going back to these settings. I want to increase the page widget to be 50. You see what is happening? So 10. So it's controlling the space in between the widgets. So it's always advisable to leave it as 20 so that I can create more appealing layouts on your design. So with that out of the way, since we know what that, the function of that, let's proceed. So now, the first widget we have here is inner section. Remember, we have section. Let me delete this. So we have section, and in a section, you can create different columns. So for this single section, you can add a column, and you can delete a column. You can delete a column. You can duplicate a column. You can delete a duplicated column. You can add multiple columns. And you can copy a widget from one column to another. So I can copy this and I can paste it here and paste it here. So that is what this paste can do. Then another thing, I can copy a style from a particular widget. Let's say I style this thing to be red and I put an underline. I'll put an underline to the text. So I can copy this styling of this widget into each of these widgets. So once I copy it, I will come here. Instead of clicking paste, I will go and do paste style. So this paste style is going to carry the attribute of this widget and pass it on to this next widget. So I will right click and do paste style. See what happened? It copied this and pasted this. So see, this is looking different. So now if I come here and change this one and increase the text a little bit, I can copy this attribute and I pass it here. So it makes design very easy and very interesting. So now you can copy style from one widget to another and create that consistent look for your design. So that is it for the columns in a section. So when you come back to this icon brings in all the widgets you have in Elementor. So once you click that, you are going to have the first widget. So the inner section is on this column. We have 3 column section. This is 3 columns. So what it means, I can have a section in a column. So I can add a section in a column. So I can take this inner section, I can add it here. That means I have the parent section and an inner section. So this inner section, I can copy this text, I can paste it inside here. I can paste it. So I have a section and an inner section. So that is what the inner section does. So you can create a single section. You can create a single section with multiple columns on the inner section. So this is one section, this is one inner section. So I can have another thing about this widget and section, you can drag things around. I can drag a column from one section to another. I can take a column from one, I can take a column, I can move this column from here to here. I can move columns around. So it's drag and drop functionality, and that what makes Elementor very unique. So I can move things around. It's very intuitive and it's very flexible. So that's one thing about it. So with that out of the way, the next widget we are going to look at is the heading widget. So the heading widget enables you to create your heading element. So you can create your H1, your H1 tag, your H2 tag, your H3 tag. So this H1, H2, H3, H2 tag kind of creates a title. It adds priority to your title, meaning that the title that is H1 is more important than the title that is H2, and is more important than the title that is H3 down to H6. So when you are creating your website content, for all your important headings, leave them at H1. So don't mind the way it's looking. You can always control the size of your H1 by going to your style and working with the typography slider. So you can reduce it to fit in to your design layer. But for search engine optimization, Google will see this heading as a very important heading. And whenever people are searching for content that relates to your website, it will serve them based on the heading that you have defined to be your H1 heading. So when we are looking at typography, we are going to talk more about H1, H2 down to H6. So that is it for the heading. And for the heading, that is where you create your title. And you can either edit your title to be, this is my heading. Sorry for that. You can either create it here. You can edit on the go. This is my heading, title. Or you can go into the content and also edit it here. This is my heading widget. So you can edit that either in the setting area or on the widget itself. You can do the editing there. So under the content, you have your text where you can put your text. You can link this heading to any page of your website. You can link it to an internal page. You can link it to an external page, depending on what you do. So when I put it, I say, okay, I want this heading to link to google.com. So once I select this, you can see this gear icon, link option. This is where I define, do I want, when people click on this heading, do I want them to open it in a new tab? Yes, you click it. So when they click it, instead of loading this page, the page will open a new tab. It's advisable when you are putting an external link on your website, make it to be open in a new tab so that you won't end up closing the current page the person is on your website. Then you can also say, I don't want search engine to follow this link. So that's what it means, no follow. So what it means is that if I have this link copied and pasted on another website, I'm telling search engine bots, don't follow this link to the destination where it is pointing to. I don't want you to follow it. I don't want you to track it. I just want it to remain where it is pasted on. So that's what it means, no follow. So when we talk about SEO, we are going to know what it means to follow and no follow links. So this custom attribute is also some dynamic functionality you can add on your website. When we are going to look at it when we are doing the Elementor Pro and see what we can do with this attribute. Then you can define the size of your widget. You can make it small, you can go large, you can go extra large. depending on. So this will not change because it's carrying a value. If I remove this value, it goes to default. So when I come back to this, it can then change based on what I want it to do. So maybe if you don't want to add a numeric value to the size of your widget, you can use the default one in Elementor to define how you want your H1 to look. So it's also something you can consider. Then another thing you can see here is alignment. You can say, I want this to be left aligned, you want it to be center aligned, you want it to be right aligned, and you want it to be justified. So this is what justification means. So once I click this, I guess we all know what justification means. It's going to give them equal weight at both sides without having it sticking out like this. So you're going to see this one is justified, this one is not justified. But one thing about justification is that it creates unnecessary spacings in your typography. You see how neat this one is looking and how spacious this one is looking. That's one thing about justification. So it's always advisable. You can justify when you have plenty text on your design. That's the only time you can justify. So let's get it back to align. So still on the heading, things you can do. So everything on the content controls the text you want to put and the format. Then on the style tab, this is where you control the color of your heading. You control the color based on the branding of your website. You control the color. You control your typography, how large, how small you want it to look. These are the different units you have for your types based on how you want to represent your type. Then you look at the weight of your font. You can make it tiny, you can make it a little bit tiny, you can make it very bold, and you can make it the normal bold. So depending on how you want to do it. Then transformation, you can decide to make your heading all uppercase, you can make them all lowercase, you can make them a capitalized format, you can take it to normal, it comes back to normal. Then under style here, you can make it normal, you can make it italic, you can make it oblique. So based on how you want it to look. So under decoration, this is where you can do underline for your text. You can do overline, you can do line through, you can do none. So this is where you go a little bit more to decorate your heading. So you can decide to say, okay, this heading, I want to make it underline. So I can be able to duplicate this and then copy content from this and remove the underline that I have here. I remove the underline that I have here, then I can paste this content. So you can create this kind of layout look. So it's all this different formatting is being created so you can get creative and design your layout. I hope I'm loud and clear. Do you have questions to ask? Let me know. So that is it for typography. Can you all still see my screen and my voice? Is it okay? So under headings, we have what we call image widget. So this enables you to add image on your website. So we are going to look for an image. We are going to pick an image. Let me say, I'll upload an image. And by the way, if you are not following our YouTube channel, please do so to follow. I'm going to drop a link. I'm going to drop our links in the chat section. So if you're not following any of these links, our Facebook group and YouTube group. So if you're not following it, do well to follow these links. So subscribe to the YouTube where I upload all the videos of our training, and Facebook where I share information on upcoming training. So with this, I'm going to insert this so you have the image widget. So the image widget enables you to upload image on your website. So on the size, you can set to use the predefined sizes of your website. You can choose the full version. You can make it larger. You can make it medium. You can make it a thumbnail. You can make it a full size. Then you can align your image either left, right, so I can see what it means, either left, center, or right. So this is what the alignment does. Then you can add a caption to your image. You can say, this is me. So you can add a custom caption to your image. You can add so this attachment caption means the caption that I have here. The caption I have here is going to use it. So when I say attachment caption, so you're going to pick the caption that I added when I uploaded this website. It's going to add it to the image. So that's one thing about caption. Let me increase it a bit. Then I can decide to link this image to the file. So what it means, if you say link to media files, you are making the image, once they click it, the bigger version of it will show like in a light box. That's what it means. I can say, okay, link this image, let me select the widget, link this image to a custom URL. That means I can say, okay, I want this image to take people to YouTube when they click on it. So when I put this, I say open in a new tab. So what it means, if I close this and you click on this, let me preview this. So to preview, let's see what our page looks like. So when I click on this, it's going to take you straight to YouTube. So that's what it means to have. So this is our YouTube channel. So I uploaded almost all the video that we have so far. I've uploaded that, so more coming. So that is what where you mean link to a custom URL or none. So none means that nothing will happen when you click on the image. So to fast forward to that, under image, you have your content. That is the content about the widget, the content you have added on the widget. Then you have your style, where you can increase the width of your image. The max width, you can define the max width and say, okay, this image will not pass this particular width, no matter the size of the device where it is viewed from. I want it to remain at 50% of that device. So no matter how big that device is, this image is going to remain 50%. Then I can affect the height of this image. I can stretch it, I can reduce it, and all those things. But it's advisable not to play to have not in order not to affect the aspect ratio of your image. Don't play with the height. I'll talk about aspect ratio in future class. Are you guys with me?
Yes.
Okay, great. So you can control the opacity of your image, the transparency of your image with this slider. And also you can create a hover effect on your image. You see these images, I can say, okay, when you hover on this image, I want it to be less visible. So that's what it means. So this image, when I hover on it to be less visible, that's what I did. I just reduced the opacity of this image. And also, one thing about this, you can also create, let me increase this so it can be a bit bigger. Okay. So under style, this is where you customize your image. So you can play around. Under CSS filter, you can make this image to be blurry based on the kind of look you are looking for your design. You can make it to be blurry. You can make it to be dark. You can make it to be bright. So you can do a little bit of customization on your image. You can highlight the image and make it more concentrated, more saturated. You can play with the hue. You can change it based on how you want it to go with your design. So if maybe my brand color is green, I can play around with my image color so I can mirror that in my design. When I'm not even, can reset. You can also reset to default by clicking this button. Everything goes back to normal. So we know this is where you can customize the caption of your image. I can change the color. I can make the text to be small, so it won't be distracting. I can make the text to be small. So I can choose a font for my design. So right now I'm doing all this thing manually. When we, by next weekend, by Friday next week, when we start doing the pro version, you see how you can create a template that will work automatically on your design. So you don't need to be doing all this thing manually. You can just click a button and it will take the size you want it to take. So that's what we are going to look at. So you can look at the text shadow. So you can add shadow to this text. So you can look at the spacing between the title and the image itself. So you can control that spacing with this slider. Then under Advanced tab, this is where you control the margin and the padding. I know we are familiar with margin and padding. I mentioned in our previous class, margin controls the spacing around an element, while padding controls the spacing within an element. So now if I add 50, you see the spacing is all around this element. So if I add 50 here, it controls within this element. So what it means that under this widget, the first 50 was happening outside the widget. The second 50 is happening inside the widget. Let me see what I can illustrate that further. Let me know if you can see this. Okay. You can see this inspector screen. So I'm trying to look for a layout. Let's see. Okay, this is what I mean. Can you all see this? So this is what we call in CSS, this is a box model. So a box model shows you how every element on the website spacing is being handled. So margin, so this is what we have here. This is the element we have here. We can see this image. Once I'm touching it, it's highlighting it. So this is the element we have here. And this is the padding. This is the padding for this element. So the padding controls the spacing around this element. Then after the padding, you have what you call border. So border controls the edges of this element. I will show you that on this image. Then after border, you have the margin. So the margin controls the spacing outside this element. So you have 3 box model, you have the padding, the border, and the margin. So that's what I want to explain by this. So if I come here now and click on this element and add a border to it, you see what's happening. So this border is showing what is happening here. So if I come here and add 50, so now do you guys understand what happened there? So remember, this is our element. It has 50 pixel padding. Remember I told you padding controls. Okay, let me make it more visible. So let me click on this. Let me click on this and add. Okay, so this is it. So now on this widget, I have, let me remove everything. So this is what we have. Let me remove the caption so that it is just the image we have. So this is what we have. I added a border to this widget. I added a border to this widget. So anywhere we stop tonight, we'll continue by Friday to wrap it up. So I have this because Elementor is so deep. It's not something you can teach in 1 hour. It's a progressive knowledge. You keep teaching different aspects of it until you get your hands on it. So, and it's very important you understand this concept because it's going to help you in your web design career. So when you understand the box model, it's going to help you in spacing out content and widgets on your website. So on this image, we have it all, no padding, no margin. So now I'm going to add a margin of 50 to it. So you see what happened? Look at this thin blue line. This is showing that this margin is affecting this content outside this content. So with that out of the way, for this image, I'm going to add a padding of 50. You see what happened? So this is my content. So inside, the padding is affecting the spacing inside this content. So this is margin and this is padding and this is the border. So this is typical the CSS box model. So for every element, you have the padding, you have the border, and you have the margin. So that is what I explained by what I showed you guys. Typically this stuff. So this is the same thing. The element, the padding, the border, and the margin. So once you understand that, you are good to go. So with that out of the way, so under this advanced, you control the margin, the padding. So the Z index is more like it controls the stacking order of your elements. So it more like creates a form of a layer. So I can have to, let me show you guys something. I can decide to make this, I'll color this background. Let me look for the background and color it. So I will remove the padding. I will clear off the padding and the margin. Okay, let me add padding so you can see the background, the effect I want to. So now, when it comes to stacking order, the Z index. So the Z index controls the stacking order. So I'm going to give this a Z index of 2. I'm going to give this a Z index of 1. So see what will happen when I try to move this up. So I'm trying to move this up. You see what happened? Let me make it so it will be more visible so you can see what happens when I change this stacking order. So you see, this guy is on top of this guy. But when I change this Z index from 1 to 3, you see what happens? It comes on top of it. So that really explains what Z index is all about. So when you want to stack elements on top of each other, you use the Z index to do that. So that is it for Z index. So for ID, CSS ID, and CSS class, these are like CSS. So in web design, you have what we call the CSS script. So CSS script is used to create the presentation aspect of your website. Thank God for things like Elementor and other page builder. Now we no longer write CSS because before, if I want to change this background to black, I need to write a CSS code. This is what I'm going to write. This is the kind of code I'm going to write. You see this code? So this is the code to change this color to red. So you see now, before now, I have to write a CSS class. This is a CSS class. Then I have to write the margin. This margin I have created, and I have to write the margin code. And I said this is what the margin is. I have to write the padding code. I have to define the background color. I have to define the border, type of border. I have to add. So imagine this is the code, the CSS code I need to write to style this element. But with Elementor, I don't need to write that code. I can just put values for that to happen for me. So you see, I don't need to write those code. That's one thing about page builder. They take you away from writing code. So now another good thing about this, let me remove this. So still on the advanced tab, we have what we call motion effect. So motion effect controls the animation we want to have, entrance animation. So when we load, so this is what happens. So now if I preview my site, you see an animation that will happen now. That's what the entrance animation is about. You see? So that's what these have created. So it's an entrance animation. So there are tons of animation you can add. You can make it to shake. You can make it to do like a rubber band. You can create a slide. So once I preview my page, that animation will take place when my page is loading. That's why it's called entrance animation. So nothing is happening, but when you scroll down to that section, it will come in. So that is some customization you can do on your website, and you make it look more professional and more appealing to people. I hope I'm clear on this. So after I've already mentioned background, so this is where you control the background of your widget. And another thing about the background, you can either use a solid classic background, or you can create a gradient for your background. So gradient for your background, I can add 2 colors and blend it well. So I can find the location, I can rotate it, I can change the angle. So this is gradient. I can use it to create different effects. I can use this to create different effects. Let me show you guys. I can use this to create an effect like this. You see how it's looking. So based on the angle, I can use it to create effect. So you can use gradient to create different effects. Another thing you can use gradient to do, you can use gradient, let's say for instance, let me show you guys another thing. Let me just quickly pick a button. So this is a button. So this button, I'm going to say download. Let me show you guys how you can get creative with gradients. So I'm going to look for a download icon. Let's see, let me pick this. So you see this, I'm going to take it after. So now I want to use gradient and create an effect. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this button black. I'm going to make the text to be white. I'm going to make this thing to be red. So now I'm going to rotate this to be, I'm going to find the location where this two is going to meet. Let me move it further somewhere here. Then I can rotate this to be this. I can give it this. So this is what you can use gradient to do. So now see what I'm going to do now, because under hover, I want to create a more like an illusion that this is going to change to black. You see? What did I do now? Okay, so I'm going to pick red. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Black. Okay, yeah. So this red. So let's get that right. So this is what I'm talking about. So you can use this to create, and under the same button, you can add an animation to it. So based on, so you see the whole lot of customization you can do with Elementor, and with the gradient, you can add some kind of creative look to a basic button, and it will look amazing. So that's one thing about what I wanted to show you guys with gradient. So back to our image, that's the under background. So under background, you can see border. I've already done that. So border, you can also change the color. You can increase the border. You can change the color. And also, Elementor has this different functionality. I can say I don't want to be looking for my color code. I want to define a color code. I can add this. I can call it BAWWE red. So what this thing does, that I don't need to start looking for this type of red again. Whenever I want, like now I want to select, I can increase the width of my border. So what it means, if I change my border color to be black, and I want to get that exact red, I will come to this global custom color, then I can pick my red. So this is what I mean by you create a custom color on your Elementor, and this enables you to have a consistent look on your design. When we get to the stage of creating a design system for your website, I'm going to show you guys how you can set up default font, default color, default button design. So I can make this button design to be default. So whenever I add a button, it will come like this. I don't need to customize it on every page. I will show you guys how to do that in coming classes. So with that out of the way, finally, we are going to look, okay, since we are here, let's finish up. So, but the next thing is mask. So mask enables you to mask your content. I'm trying to see. So I'm maxing this content. What it means that I can have everything to be white. I can have everything to be white. Let me go back to solid. So this is what max does. So you can max a portion of your, design. Let me find the background. This is an image, so let me find the mask. I can put it to be fill. So I can put custom. So the custom means I can mask a section. So based on what you do, so that's what mask is all about. So you can mask a section. Then another thing is positioning. So positioning is under absolute. What it means that I can have these elements move around. So I can drag this element to any place I want it to go. That's what absolute positioning means. So I can reduce the size. I can drag it. I can say, I want this to be here. I want this to be here. So when you start creating more custom design, this will enable you to move things around on your site. Then you have a fixed design. Fixed means that whenever your site is moving, that element is going to be fixed wherever it is. It's not going to move with every other content on your website. That's what fixed means. You can move it to left, you can move it to right. So let's go back to default. Okay, what else do we have here? We have a vertical alignment that can align to the top, middle, and bottom. So based on, I'm trying to show you and find what I'm going to show you guys. Okay, let me see this. Okay, this will not do that. Okay, let's go back to this. So another thing we have here is responsive. So this is how you control how you want the element on your web page to look like. For mobile, you can say, I want this widget to hide. I don't want to show it on mobile. I don't want to show it on desktop. So what it means, this is the desktop version. You see, it has disappeared. I said I don't want to show it on tablet. So when it comes to tablets, so this is the tablet. So it has disappeared. I don't want to show it on mobile. So when it comes to mobile, it has disappeared. So you use the responsive mode to hide things on different devices. So that's what it means. Then attribute, I mentioned that I'm going to talk about attribute because it's a pro widget. So it's for the Elementor Pro version. So that's where attribute comes, where I can show you what you can do with this attribute. Then finally, it's custom CSS. It also comes with the pro version of Elementor. So once you set up the pro version, I can show you how to add custom code into your design. So guys, that is it for tonight. So by Friday, I will talk more about this. So within the week, I'll try to drop a little note that explain each of the Elementor's widgets in the discussion group. So you can, when you read, you can really understand what this widget is all about. So I can drop a link and explain more about each of these widgets I've mentioned. So I don't know if you have questions, or should we call it a night and continue on the group and then do another class on Friday. So I'm open for questions. Cheese room, super or more.